What's up, comic fans, and welcome to New Comic Book Day. Wow. With comic news. All right. So let's get into some news, but first. All right. Let's take a look at some comic news. The website comicbook.com released their 10 worst retcons in Marvel history. So, let's see, what was on the list? Retconning the Dark Phoenix saga, right? A lot of X-Men stuff were pretty good. Nightcrawler's parentage. Professor X manipulating Wolverine's memory. I see the first three right off the bat are X-Men books, which does bring me to an interesting, obvious transition later. Professor X manipulating Wolverine's memory. Heroes Reborn. In the 1990s, Marvel Comics was struggling, and it did something that turned many fans off. Marvel decided to try to attract new, younger fans by changing the look of their comics to resemble that of their closest competitor, Image. They did so by hiring Image Comics talents such as Jim Lee and Rob Liefeld to reboot their entire comic book line. They led to this with Onslaught killing the Avengers and Fantastic Four, and then Lee and Liefeld launched Heroes Reborn with new origins and what was essentially the precursor to the Ultimate Universe. The two changed everything about the heroes. While the comics sold a ton at the start, they ultimately fell a year later, and Marvel reestablished the status quo. I mean, it was a horrible retcon, but you do get some things coming out of it, right? Alternate timelines and such. So that's not too bad of a retcon. What other retcons failed? Moira McTaggart in House of X. Right? They made Moira McTaggart an actual mutant. That was pretty recent too. Sins Past, Gwen and Norman. I actually forgot about that. Gwen and apparently Gwen Stacy and Norman Osborn hooked up and had a baby. Let's read a little bit about that one. Spider-Man has not had a great life, and he has lost more people close to him than almost any other hero. One of the most hated Spider-Man storylines in history was the Clone Saga, which began with Gwen Stacy seemingly returning to life. However, one thing was revealed that retconned Gwen Stacy's life many years later, making many fans so angry they almost gave up on the beloved title. In the 2004 storyline, Sins Past, Mary Jane told Peter that Norman Osborn and Gwen had an affair, and she ended up pregnant with his twins. This goes against everything Gwen stood for in the comics, and the fact that Mary Jane had known all along was disgusting. This also led to the Kindred storyline, which was good, but the entire Gwen and Norman retcon was gross. Yeah, that was a pretty sucky retcon to have Gwen hook up with Norman Osborn. I mean, come on. Norman was like, what, pushing 40s, 50s, and Gwen was, I guess when she died, she was in her 20s. Whatever. Number 4, Miss Marvel is an Inhuman and mutant. Yeah, they can't really decide what she is. But then Marvel just made her an Inhuman and a mutant at the same time. They're kind of like almost similar. The Clone Saga. Right, we touched on that. Crossing. I don't even know what Crossing was. Crossing might have been the worst decision Marvel Comics ever made in the pages of its Avengers comics books. And by the way, guys, we're just looking at the worst retcons in Marvel history, according to comicbook.com. Iron Man had gone through a lot of ups and downs in Marvel Comics as one of the company's first major heroes. Fans watched as Tony Stark was able to overcome incredible odds, including his brilliant Demon in a Bottle story. That actually was a pretty good story. That was one of the first major comics that I bought, was the Demon in a Bottle series. First time I spent a lot more than cover price on a book. However, in the 1990s, Marvel decided to retcon everything fans knew about Tony by claiming he had always been a villain working for Kang, and had been a double agent with the Avengers over the years, ultimately helping Kang destroy the world. In the end, Tony died, and a teenage version from the multiverse replaced him, and fans hated him completely. This was where Iron Man truly changed, and it might be the point at which he became one of Marvel Comics' most hated superheroes. Crossing. One More Day. That's the number one most hated. What's up, Rich? Richard Westphal in the house. Road to 1K. Thank you so much. Go check out Rich. He's CBC Award nominated. All right. So if you get a chance to go out and vote, I would definitely do it. Vote for your favorite YouTube comic community person. And here is the link for that. All right, let's go back to the top 10. One More Day. Number one, going in at number one. There is no retcon. There is no retcon in Marvel Comics more hated and despised than the events in One More Day that led into the Brand New Day timeline. In the first storyline, Spider-Man joined Iron Man's side in Civil War and revealed his identity to the world. This put his loved ones in danger, and Aunt May paid the price when she took a bullet meant for Peter. To save his aunt's life and make his identity a secret again, Peter and Mary Jane made a deal with Mephisto. They gave up their marriage and had their history erased in exchange for Aunt May's life. That's what Spider-Man does. Gives, and gives. The next issue showed Peter had never married MJ, and everything had changed. Peter and MJ had no memories of their past together, and the entire Spider-Man comic book was basically rebooted. Fans hated it then and still hate it almost 20 years later. All right. Why are we bringing up the top 10 reboots? Well, because this week, Age of Apocalypse has started, and you thought Age of Apocalypse ended. Nope. It continues on this week. Yo, Babyface in the house. Joke's on you. I'm not actually Will. I'm Will's younger brother. No. Kidding. Yeah, so Age of Apocalypse is, or was, rebooted, and now it's we'll see where it goes. We'll see if it's good or great. I have the book here. I did read it right before I came on. I only got to read 2 books today. Pretty busy day. I usually try to read at least 3, but we got 2 in the chamber loaded. So we'll talk a little bit about it. In other news, James Gunn was talking about, I guess it was on the Howard Stern show, was talking about who he originally had pictured the role of Peacemaker. And not a surprise, if you ask me, being that James Gunn had worked with this actor before. But there's some it's just funny that they're both wrestlers, all right? So he was thinking about David Bautista to originally be Peacemaker, and I could kind of see it, but I think now, John Cena is just kind of so perfect for this role, and he's doing a phenomenal job, if you ask me. Dave Bautista too, I think, was recently voted. I don't know. I mean, the competition's not super stiff. There's only a few wrestlers who have gone into acting successfully. But Dave Bautista, I think, was recently voted the most successful wrestler to become an actor. I forget exactly how they phrased it. Wrestler turned actor. So I think The Rock was 2. And if I'm guessing, I have to say probably Dave, but John Cena finished 3rd, if there was a 3rd place. So, but yeah, it would be interesting. Dave Bautista's a really good actor too, so I think that would have been a really interesting thing to see had that actually happened. Will's younger brother looks way younger than that's funny. So yeah, guys, those are that's the news for today. The 10 worst retcons in Marvel history, according to comicbook.com. All right. And James Gunn's original choice for the Peacemaker. It's not who, I think it's who he originally envisioned. So, not sure if he, wrote it with Batista in mind, or if he ended up casting John Cena, and then writing it out. So, but just interesting to know Dave Bautista was on the list. He was the original choice for Peacemaker. Naman's in the house. What's up, Naman? How are you doing today? Hope you're doing good. Happy New Comic Book Day, everybody. Yep, true story. That's what happens when you have a wife and 2 kids. I look younger than him. Oh no. Crazy. All right, guys, we're gonna try to we're going to speed through the comic books a little bit, only because I only read 2, and there's 3 here. Well, not this 3. I only read 2, and there's a couple here, and I got to get to bed early tonight just because I got stuff, real world stuff happening tomorrow morning. Your boy got an interview at a new company, and so hopefully, well, we'll see how it works out. We'll see if it's even a fit. But they do some cool stuff. So we'll see. All right. Well, what did I pick up this week? We picked up the comic shop news. 30 Days of Night, Fallen Sun #1. That looks like a horror. I don't know if I've ever seen it. What else we get? The comic shop news. We get stuff. Shopping for Superman Part 1. I did a lot during the pandemic, right? There were a lot of bins opening during the pandemic, and I definitely was digging through a lot of them for Superman. And I remember having the first Deadshot comic in my hands, and I ended up putting that for some stupid reason. Anyway. Thanks, Dagger. We'll see how it works out. All right. So we got we talked about that. Shopping for Superman. On to the next page. They also give you next week's comics. So if you ever want a quick flip in comic shop news, a couple of cool articles. They kind of pick out some indie and some major titles on this page. It's like the middle of the comic shop news. And then a couple more on the next page. And then the back page, which typically be the front page of the paper. But they print this thing backwards. There's a couple more things. Usually they'll have like an interview with a creator in here. I haven't seen that yet. Or I didn't see that in this one. But comic shop news. Always worth a nice little pickup if you got to kill time and don't have enough. Don't want to read your comics right away. All right, so there were some ash cans at my comic shop. Apparently, Ignition Press released a bunch of these. So Ignition Press is a new comic book publisher out there. They have Leah Williams and David Baldione on this one. Those are both like pretty good comic creators, right? I've read books and seen their art before. So Voyeur. There was a little preview of Voyeur in another comic I read today. But as you can guess, this guy's got a camera. He's able to see stuff. Look, he's like checking out this bathtub and he's like, come on, somebody get in it. I guess he's following this Giga here. No. Zip. Not that this is what you want to see. I'm trying to keep it PG here, but zip. So if you kind of get in a feel for what Voyeur is about, that might be it. All right, and then this guy's like underneath like boardwalks and stuff. This guy's super creepy. I'm not quite sure what's happening here. But anyway, ash can of Voyeur. We got that at the shop today. Moving down the line, this one actually came out today, so I don't know if my comic shop got it late and put it out today or got it early. I think these were supposed to have come out like last week, but this is Murder Podcast. Very interesting premise. These people listen to podcasts and then they murder people. This one murders her husband. There was a funny scene where he's like talking to her and he's like, hey hun, have you seen my shirt? Stab. And he's like, I've been stabbed. So, and then she just like crushes him. But Murder Podcast was another ash can that came out. My store had more than one copy. So if you have a LCS near you, I mean, if it's a very busy one, they're probably gone by now. But you might want to check out and see if they have any of the ash cans left. What else? We got some Spawn. Spawn's always got a dope cover. And then Dagger had so much fun at the local Comic-Con with the comic creators there, right? And you met some cool people too, right? You met a lot of artists and creators, like you said. You met some YouTubers, I think. You met Cliff, right? Very least you met Cliff. Kenneth Bird's in the house. What's up, Birdman? Oh, Birdman's in the house. Oh, I don't know what that is, but if I do this in front of a light, it looks like a pigeon. But yeah, that was dope that you got to go to the con, Dagger. So I'm glad you got to do that. So I didn't get to read Spawn. Is she Spawn? Yeah. Oh, Gunslinger Spawn's up in this piece. Definitely a fun book. I like Spawn. I'm thinking about some more She Spawn. I'd fight demons with her. else we got here? Oh, here it is. Splash page. So McFarlane's writing it. Booth is drawing it. It looks like a weird. I was saying I'm thinking about dropping some of the Spawn titles. I get a lot of them, and I think I need to get a lot less. They're not all that good. Some of them are good. Some of them are okay. Right? So, yeah, I saw some of your covers. Oh, excuse me. Should pause the camera when I do that. For some reason, I got tired. I might go to more now. I'm hooked. I know. Once you start going to cons, like that's it. It's game over. Game over. All right, guys. Sadly, Daniel Warren Johnson is leaving Transformers, but Robert Kirkman will pick up on the next issue with Transformers number 25. Look at that. Optimus, all battle damage, standing over Megatron. That's just a dope cover. So this is the last issue of, I believe that's Starscream right there. The last issue of Transformers that DWJ will be working on. Try not to give away too much because I'm pretty sure this is going to be an all-out rumble, if you will. Right, page 1, bam, already into it. I mean, I think at the end of issue 23, Optimus is saying that famous line, "One shall stand, one shall fall." So we just have an all-out battle here. Here, I don't want to look like I'm giving away too much. Here's Optimus just punching Megatron. So yeah, go check out Transformers. It's been pretty good. I mean, it was very brutal. It kind of was reminiscent of when I went to go see the Transformers movie as a kid, and I was watching it, and they just kill a bunch of Transformers off in like the first 5 minutes of the film. And you're just like, only later to find out that Hasbro just wanted to sell more toys. So they're like, how do we get a whole new toy line of Transformers that nobody has out? Oh, we just kill all the Generation 1 Transformers and we create a whole nother round of Transformers. Yeah, I'm excited. About a month away from going to New York Comic Con, so that should be dope. Oh, clean shave today. That is right, Naman. I am clean shaven today. Oh, Dagger. Naman and I have already been out on dates, man. We've had beer together. Naman and I got to hang out. So I've actually got to hang out with Naman in the real world. One World Under Doom, number 7. The Mr. Fantastic there is supposed to become the scientist supreme in this issue. Boom, there you go. See? Come on, Dagger, where you at? What do we got? Oh, Squirrel Girl from here. I got to catch up on One World Under Doom. I have not been doing a good job of reading this issue. There's some more Doom. It's not a bad book. I mean, it's got a really good writer on it. It's got North on it, Dennis North. It's pretty good. Oh, look at this. Reed Richards in a new costume. All right, we'll leave it there. We won't give away too much. But yeah, One World Under Doom. Issue 7. What else we got? Oh, for you Wolverine fans, we got Ultimate Wolverine number 9. Let's go. Now, what's happening in this one? Oh, we got some Sentinels. No, thank you. Nope. If I was a mutant, I'd be like, I'm good. It was a good fight, guys. Good fight. We gave it our all. I'm just going to go sit down over here. sit on the bench. You got Wolverine berserkering right there. Look, ripping his claws through somebody. Some cool stuff happening in this book. Ultimate Wolverine, I would say, is definitely top 3, if not top 2 Ultimate titles. I mean, I'm a big Ultimate Spider-Man fan, so I think I got to give it to Ultimate Spidey. But Ultimate Wolverine is really good too. Lucky. What do we got? Hey, I'm thinking about going to Peter Hahn's art workshop the day before New York. Oh, cool. I should be in New York that day. I have no idea what time Peter Hahn's workshop is. Let's see. One day workshop, 10/8, 2-hour lecture. It's actually not that bad. West 38th Street. I've been there before. 307 West 38th Street. 5 to 7 p.m. Very cool. Oh, you get dinner. Catered sandwich and salad with the vegetarian option available. And beverages will be provided. Each artist will offer a free unique book signing, so you get your book signed while you're there. Character Anatomy, Space Perspective, free book signing by Dong Ho. Dynamic Bible, free book signing by Peter Hahn. Looks like you have to buy the books though. So it looks like you'll be there from 4:40 p.m. till 9:30 p.m. Well, I'll be in the city that day, so hit me up. I think I'll be going to a pro lecture at the Javits Center. It's just for people with pro passes from New York Comic Con that day. So I should be in the city that day. So hit me up. Love me some Wolvie. Good to know. There's an art shop. Yes. In the evening. Hey, Naman, Dagger's inviting you to go to Canada. To go to the art workshop. It's only $20. You had enough at free food. You had free food. Free food, but you gotta pay to get in. Richard back. Alright. What else? We got Action Comics. Superboy Unchained. Looks like Superboy's angry. Punching people in the face. So Action Comics has kind of been telling like a backstory on Superman. Oh. Superman somehow lost his clothes. So, yep. Look, he doodled in high school. Actually, I'm pretty sure that's whoever he's talking to. Maybe that's Lana Lang. Let's see, or somebody we'd never met before. Nope, that's Lana. She's got a crush on Superboy, but she's hanging out with Clark Kent. And probably wants to be like, that's me! That's me! Well, he's fighting some robots here. So Mark Waid's doing a really good job of kind of telling some past history of Superman. How it all ties into the All In initiative, I'm not sure, but they have the All In on the title, so we'll see how they mesh these stories together. Let's see. Send me a plane ticket, Dagger. Treat it like an all-you-can-eat buffet. That's true. Sandwich, 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 sandwich. Eat like one of the meat options, and then be like, "Wait, I'm a vegetarian. Can I have one of those?" And then when they give you that, you're like, "Nope, I forgot. I'm actually a meat eater. Can I get another meat, please?" So we're not dating yet. All right, next up, we got Sam and Twitch, Ace Files. This might be one of the books I'm dropping. I've just fallen really behind on this, and I haven't had any like urge to like catch up on this one and finish it. So I've been falling behind, and then they don't have the classic word bubbles. You know, the writing it throws me off just a little bit. The interior art is not quite the art style that I like, which is fine for the book. There are a lot of people who like Sam and Twitch, or at least I had heard a lot of people liked it. I don't know who's still on the book. I mean, if you're a Sam and Twitch fan, I guess it's fine. I did like the character dynamics. I will say that. I did like the way they interacted early on in the book, but that was kind of all that kept me interested. Okay, and I mean, it is Sam and Twitch, right? So that should be enough. But the stuff they were doing, none of that appealed to me. So, look, explosion. And then talking there. So, I don't know. Maybe I'll try to read it again. Try to catch up. I mean, I'm really far behind. So at this point, it might just be worth moving on and then picking up whatever I'm missing if I decide I like it and trade. But I could save myself $4 since it went up from $2.99 to $3.99. Sandwich? If your nickname is Twitch, I probably won't. I mean, if your nickname's Dagger, I'm probably gonna watch my back. Nah, that's fine. All right, we picked up one of the Punisher comics this week, Red Band. They didn't have cover A, so I picked up whatever cover this is. This is cover E. Touche. Right? So, yeah, we picked up a Punisher. Let's go ahead and crack this open. We're going to read it anyway. Like I said, they didn't have cover A, so I got this. This is very reminiscent of a Scott Koblish cover, but I'm really not sure who it is. If you look real close, it's like... Oh, camera zoomed out. But if you look kind of closely, it's like different covers and different clippings of the Punisher. So, pretty interesting cover. I don't know how it's going to work out because I'm not quite... Yeah, there it goes. I wasn't quite holding the comic. I was holding the scissors and the part of plastic I was cutting. Ooh, almost sneezed there. Let's see, what do we got going on here? So who did this? So right off the bat, we have a bloody Punisher. And it does say in the back, Red Band Edition, explicit content. So as it tries to focus on it. But anyway. Let's see, we got bloody... Oh! Looks like Kingpin is up in this. Who did the... Let's see. M. Garson. So I think Garson did this cover. He does these type of covers too. So yeah, we got a bloodied up Punisher. This Tombstone. It's like Tombstone's up in here. Tombstone's had a revival with the ASM titles, right? So Tombstone's been a big nemesis of Spidey. Oof. What is going on here? We got this dude who's like chopping up body parts. That's why it's Red Band. And Frank has got this old lady. She must be the guy in this chair or something like that. So we'll get to reading this. It does look like that lady who you saw in the book. Her dog finds him washed up on the shores. This looks like it could be an interesting read. I wasn't quite sure how I felt about the Punisher coming back, but I think it should be a good read. We'll find out. Sweet Punisher. I recommend Gordon Ramsay Mads. Not funny story, but I guess maybe it's interesting. I've eaten a couple of Gordon Ramsay restaurants, and they're delicious, but it's also pricey. So, like, if you want some good food, I would try it like once, like Tasty. The portions are okay too, not humongous, but not small, but such that you feel like if you paid a little extra, you got a decent amount of food. Not that you got a ton of food for the price you pay, but it's not like you got like a carrot. Anyway, it's enough about Gordon Ramsay. We got Captain America #3. We got the design variant of the new character, David Bolton. And yeah, I mean, you have him as a kid, then as a jarhead, and then I'm not sure if he's a jarhead or joined the army. And then you have him as as Captain America. Here on the bottom, they show he's just a little bit taller than Cap. So I think Cap is 6 feet. Sorry, no, 6'4". And David Colton is supposed to be 6'8". So he's supposed to be a bigger version of Cap. There's Dr. Doom in here. There's some David Colton. I never read issue 2 because I don't even think I got issue 2. So we'll have to come back to this once I make sure I can get issue 2 to read it. But yeah, Cap. The first one I read, I was like a little bit confused as to what was going on. It was kind of like in the past, but then also in David Colton's past, but not really ever in the present. So it's just a lot of past stuff going on. Great name, right? David. You had me at David. There you go. And he's a Cap. He's a Captain America. All right, we're down to our last 2 books. This one we had the Ash Can for. This is Murder Podcast, all right? And it's a little bit thicker. I think I might put this into a Silver Age. A little bit thicker of a book. What was the price tag on this? $4.99. So not outrageously priced. It's the cover is it's like almost cardstock. It's cardstock. I'm gonna call it cardstock. So it's not like super strong cardstock, but it's better than what they print Marvel books on, and now even DC books. So you can get with that. yeah, it kind of starts off with that murder that was in the ash can from a wife who was listening to a podcast, and then she just murdered her husband. I mean, from what I understand about being married, it may not have even been the podcast, right? But anyway, we meet these 5 females, and they're hanging out, whatever. They're talking about this podcast, and then they're like, let's go have dinner, another day, right? We'll plan dinner. They all head out their separate ways. And then you got one in the group, Mina, I think is her name, or Mira. And she's like sitting at a cafe, and she's like, yo, guys, what if we just did a podcast about this lady who just killed her husband? And they're all like, nah, bro. And then she decides to go home. And we could see this dude on headphones smashing this guy into the wall. And it's like, what? And he's kind of so in the opening scene, the lady who's murdering her husband is also reciting the podcast, and this dude is reciting the podcast. And so we're kind of getting this connection now, right? That this podcast has something to do with murdering people. And as we leave off the book, we leave on a cliffhanger, guys. And our heroine looks like she's in trouble. I won't give you the final panel, but murder podcast from Ignition, pretty cool. I have to look this up too. On the back, there's like a code, and it says unlock your story, ignitionpress.com. And like I said, this my book anyway. I'm sure most of the books out there have a code. I just showed you guys the code, so yeah, that's cool. I have no idea what the code does, by the way. So if you try it and it gives you some kind of error, yeah, that's on you. So anyway, I'm going to, let me just share this. I don't know why I'm just staring at it without. Later, Naman. Go challenge yourself, man. Go be the best bookworm you can be. Comic bookworm. So, yeah, this is the website here. I'm just going to move it to my secondary screen. Murder Podcast, Ignition Press. It'll be the last thing you hear, Murder Podcast. Here's all the people who worked on it. Down here, they have Cold Open, Cover A. These are ones you can order, I guess, on the website. These are issue number 0. Looks like cover B is sold out. There is a pin. They have a t-shirt that's sold out. And there is a tote bag. So they already have swag. Let's see about us. What we got going on here? Los Angeles-based comic book and graphic novel publisher. Started up, I guess, in July of 2024, and will begin in September of 2025. So we're in September. There's the CEO. There's the publisher. There's the editor-in-chief. There's the creative director, Jeremy Hahn. He's also the writer of the podcast book. Yeah, they got Cullen Bonon, David Baldion, Inaki Miranda, and the Miranda brothers, Leah Williams, Roy Miranda, Stefano Simeone, Stephanie Williams, Tim Seeley, and the rest of the people I didn't name. And here's some of the books they got. Murder Podcast was the first one. Voyeur, I believe, is going to be the second one to come out. Arcadia, that looks to be an ongoing series. Wait a minute. Swag is here? I didn't see Swag. Oh, I get it. I said Swag. Yeah, you see most of these are limited, but Arcadia seems to be an ongoing series, and The Beauty looks like it'll be an ongoing series. What price would you pay for perfection? Most of them are 5-issue limited series, with Murder Podcast being 8 issues. I know, I said Swag. There you go. More. Look, it's more Swag. So, including these exclusive comics. Murder Podcast sold out. All right, so Ignition Press. I will tell you that the quality of the book was really good, so that didn't bother me. Sometimes these new publishing houses will spring for a little better material right off the bat to make a good first impression. As long as they don't go bankrupt doing it, I think I'm fine with that. So, I mean, I'd rather get a good book than a bad book, right? All right. And then, and like here, you can see this listener is listening to the podcast and has a knife. So that's why I don't listen to podcasts. All right, last but not least, we have Age of Apocalypse #1. Just when you thought the Age of Apocalypse was over with from 30 some odd years ago, nope. We are thrust back into it. Got some Gambit action. Rogue. Sabretooth, even though he calls himself Creed. Havoc. All sorts. Mr. Sinister makes an appearance. Oh, here's Magneto. Let me get you Mr. Sinister up here. Mr. Sinister. So, the whole cast of characters is back for this one. Basically, the Age of Apocalypse happens. These X-Men from the Age of Apocalypse assumed that they had sacrificed themselves and that their timeline should be over. They do have the memory of that, but somehow they figure out they're still alive and things are still happening. Look, it's Morph. His first appearance, I believe, was in the X-Men animated series from the 90s. So it's cool. And then he got brought into comics. We have a version of Forge in this book. He's kind of in a metallic robot suit. He's seen some stuff. And then towards the end, we get introduced to some of the villains, including Holocaust, who is the son of Apocalypse back in the Age of Apocalypse. And we can see that Mr. Sinister is talking to him. Oh, Mr. Sinister, double-crossing people? And, yeah. And then these X-Men take a trip to another dimension, or another timeline, where the rest of the X-Men exist. So, X-Men Apocalypse, it started off pretty good. I was like, you know what, I'll get the first issue, I'll just check out what it's about, and I'll probably stop there. That was my initial thinking. I read this one, so I'll probably check in on it. As long as it's not like I have to buy every X-Men book to keep up with this this storyline, I'll probably continue to get a couple issues just to keep up and see where it's at. If I have to buy 27 different X-Men books, I'm out. So we'll see. But it did, I think, because of the nostalgia, it kind of reactivated my interest in what was happening in the X-Men titles. So we'll see what happens. All right, guys. Those were the comics that I picked up this week for New Comic Book Day. Why? With comic news. We did talk about the 10 worst retcons in Marvel history, according to comicbook.com, which included things like retconning the Dark Phoenix saga. Which was one of the first times they killed off a major hero, right? Jean Grey. And whatever. Nightcrawler's parentage, right? It was supposed to be Mystique, right? And anyway, whatever. Professor X manipulating Wolverine's memories. Heroes Reborn, which is when they tried to reset the Marvel Universe with Rob Liefeld at the helm and Jim Lee. Moira McTaggart in the House of X, right? That was up there. Sins Past, Greg Norman and Gwen Stacy having a relationship. Gross. Miss Marvel being an Inhuman and a mutant. Yeah, just overcomplicating things. The Clone Saga. The Clone Saga was one of the most hated Marvel comic storylines for nearly 2 decades, if not longer. This all started with Gwen Stacy seemingly coming back to life. Eventually, Spider-Man realized that the bad guy known as the Jackal was creating clones of people Peter Parker loved to drive the hero to madness. In the end, Spider-Man fought his own clone, and one of them died in battle. For the next 2 years, Spider-Man went about his business until Peter Parker returned and claimed to be the real Spider-Man. The retcon here contended that for 2 years, the fans followed Ben Reilly, who believed he was Peter, and the actual Peter Parker had disappeared. This angered many fans, as they felt Marvel had given them 2 years of character development that amounted to nothing. With that being said, we've had this happen before. Recently, we had the Superior Spider-Man, but we were aware that Dr. Otto Octavius was Spider-Man at that point. And recently in ASM, they've had Ben Reilly take on the mantle as Peter Parker has disappeared. So they've definitely gone back to use it. So that is something that, even though fans hated it for what it did to the character, it has been used again in comics. Crossing was number 2. That was a whole Iron Man debacle. And then One More Day, which is why people to this day hate the fact that Peter and MJ are no longer together. Hey, Kirby's here. What's up? Yo. So yeah, we did that comic news. Then we talked about James Gunn actually envisioning David Bautista, who we worked with on Guardians of the Galaxy as being Peacemaker, and not John Cena. I think Bautista may have turned the role down or said he wasn't interested, something to that effect. And so, I don't know, at this day and time, now we have John Cena as the Peacemaker. We shouted out swag too. And then we showed off all the comics we got this week. We'll do one quick blow through and then we are out of here. So we got X-Men Alpha, Age of Apocalypse. We got Murder Podcast, the first comic book printed out of Ignition. And it was a pretty good read. We got Captain America number 3, the design variant. with David, what's his last name? David Colton, the new Captain America in this book, or a Captain America in the book. We got the Punisher #1. We got the David Albion. No, this is Garson. Garson cover. Cover E. They didn't have any more A cover, so we got that one. Sam and Twitch Case Files #17. Got to catch up on that. Action Comics, Superboy Unchained. Mark Waid's been doing some old, or not old, but I guess some prequel-ish Superman stories. Ultimate Wolverine #9. I definitely recommend reading Wolvie. One World Under Doom. Right, Mr. Fantastic becomes the Scientist Supreme. We have the last issue of Daniel Warren Johnson and Jorge Corona on Transformers. I think it's definitely Robert Kirkman and maybe Fleming are taking over on the next Transformers, which will be issue 25. It'll be like an oversized anniversary issue, which means that'll probably be coming out right in time for New York Comic Con. Spawn 368. And then we got the Ashcan of Murder podcast. And we got an Ashcan of the next book coming out of Ignition, Lawyer, which looks interesting. There's literally a panel of a guy going zip. You can figure out what he's unzipping in that book. All right, comic fans. That's it. What are we doing this week? Friday morning, 7 to 8. If you're into fantasy football, check me out on the channel. We'll be doing fantasy football Fridays. That's what it is. Fantasy football Fridays with the Rising Rhino. 7 to 8. What else are we doing this week? Tomorrow, like I said, I got an interview, so maybe we'll have some kind of short up on the thing. And that's pretty much it, fellas. Saturday, Sunday, whatever. We'll drop the new comic book day haul and review this week, and then Monday we're right back to Monday Night Raw Bucks. We'll be talking about some. Maybe we might actually go back to opening packages. But I've been having a hoot going through my long boxes while we watch a little Monday Night Football. Green Bay at Washington tomorrow. That's right. We got that Thursday night football. Make sure to set your lineups. Definitely set those lineups. Don't forget to set them. I ran into a guy wearing a Favre jersey today. Woot woot. Brett Favre. I like it raw. Yeah, baby, I like it raw. Yeah. All right, guys. That'll be my little dance party. My light's missing over here. The other day, I extended it, and the cable got caught. And I ripped the copper cables out of the inside. So we've got to repair it. I need to go get some solder. I don't have any more soldering it. And we'll solder it back together. Or that light was so cheap, I could spend another $7-8 and buy a new one. Even though I think it was on clearance. So I don't know if it would still actually be available. But it did, when you went straight LED light and not any colors, it did create like a little irritating buzzing noise. So maybe I should just invest in a new one. But I do have my other light. You can see it's lighting the room. Not this one behind me, but I have a box light that's over there, and they use it for like professional photography shoots and all that stuff. So that's still there. So that also light box. That's also working pretty well. First world problems, right? Oh man, my LED light broke. Exactly, first world problems. But all right, guys. All right, if you like the content, you know what to do. Hit that thumbs up on the way out. Peace, deuces, we're out. See you guys later, Mondays. And next week, Aaron should be rejoining. I know Aaron's with his family today, so I didn't even tell him to jump on. I was like, go ahead, do real world stuff. So, and Kirby, if you're still here, I saw that you had delivered a package you got your package and we opened it up live today. I don't know if you saw that, but that was pretty cool. So, all right, guys, with his family was there, his brother and his sister. So, yeah, that's it. We're out. Peace. Deuces. Ka-chink. All right.